If you're struggling because you want to make a really nice meal for family or friends, but everything's just so expensive, trust me, I get it. I see it every time I'm in the store. But what I want to do is teach you how to make a delicious fine dining meal for 4 people for under 25 bucks. But the first thing is, we got to go to the store to even see if we can make this happen. Sound good? Let's shop. All right, in the store here, and I'm heading over to the protein section to see what I can even afford before we get to the next step. Most nicer cuts of beef are just gonna price me out of that $25 range, and even seafood, even frozen seafood can do that too. So I think my best option here is going to be chicken now. I think I'm going to maybe make either a peppercorn sauce or maybe like a chicken Kiev, which is just stuffed up with like butter and a little bit of parsley and garlic. Either one of those I think is going to work, but honestly, I don't even know what we can afford. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to make that even happen because it's so expensive. But let's check out some vegetables, see what we can do. All right, slight change of plan, a little detour. I was thinking of originally doing a potato dish. What about rice pilaf? I mean, it's something I used to make every single day at a restaurant I used to work at called Malmaison. Always delicious, super easy. So I know I'm going to need some long grain rice. Next, chicken stock. If you haven't already made this at home and have this in the freezer, like I always tell you, you're going to need a little bit, and I think those boxed chicken stocks are just going to be better. Then, I'm going to need a little bit of celery. I know I already have onions and garlic at home. Maybe we should grab some parsley just in case, also for garnish at the end. Okay, so what about veg? I love those carrots with the tops on them. Maybe we can just roast them up really simply. A little bit of butter, salt, and pepper. I think it could be really good and very, very easy to do. So back to the chicken Kiev for a second. One of the cool things about it is you don't really need a sauce because after you slice it open, that delicious butter stuffing is going to pour out of there and boom, a sauce. But I sure hope that I have all the ingredients I need to make it because I'm just about tapped out on the budget. I'm pretty sure I have eggs. I'm almost positive I have breadcrumbs. If not, I know I could make those with a little dried out bread and put them through the food processor, but it's always the scary time. It's time to load up and see how much everything is. Shoot, totally forgot one more thing. I need a lemon. I don't think that's going to put me over the edge. Got it? Let's go check out. I'm always most nervous when I put everything on this belt. I don't know why. Let's check out the price. I know I've got to be close once they scan that chicken. And let's see. Okay, $24.10, right on the money. Let's get home, unpack everything, and then let's just start cooking. And I can already tell the success of this dish is going to be all about the mise en place, or everything in its place. It needs to be prepped and ready to roll because there are so many different components and so many different cook times. So the first thing we're going to do is make that butter that goes in the inside of the chicken. So I've got parsley here. I've got a little bit extra here, obviously, because we're not only going to put it in the butter, but I'm also going to use it for the rice pilaf and a little garnish at the end. So just simply, finely mince it. And it's always totally cool to use the stems because there's just so much flavor in there. All right, just set it to the side now in a bowl. And then for the garlic, you only need 1 clove for the butter, but I'm going to mince 1 other one just for the rice pilaf and get ahead of the prep. Give it a quick smash. And then chop it up. All right, real quick for this butter, we're gonna add in 1 stick of softened unsalted butter, half of the garlic cloves that we minced up, about a 1/4 cup of the finely minced parsley. We want a lot of parsley in there, a lot of flavor. Next, we are gonna zest up 1/2 lemon, so just zest up a half of it. Next, we're gonna slice it in half, add the juice of 1/2 lemon. And I always like to use my other hand here to catch any seeds like that so they don't go in there. And we're going to season it really well with salt, fresh cracked black pepper, and then using a fork, we are going to mash everything together until it is completely combined. Once everything is completely mixed together, what we want to do is form it into a log. Now, you can do this by hand. Now, I was always taught to kind of roll it up and form it in parchment paper. I don't know what it is, compound butters. This is how I was taught. All right, so once it's in there, just try to form it to that same sized log that we put in there when it was just a stick of butter, okay? Just like this. Then we're just gonna roll it up real nice, go in the freezer for about 20 to 25 minutes. And there's a reason we want that butter to be really firm so that it melts slowly when it's being cooked and it doesn't come out of the chicken. So definitely don't skip out on that. Now we're gonna prep up some vegetables for the roasted carrots and then a little bit for the rice pilaf, starting with the baby carrots.
What I like to do when serving these up is leave about a ½ inch to an inch of that green stem. It just looks really pretty. Used to do it back in my restaurant days as well. For the green stems, you should keep these. I'm gonna put them in the freezer for a later date, and so should you. Then for the carrots, just give them a quick peel, set them to the side until we are ready to use them. Also for those carrot peelings, I'm gonna put those in the freezer as well. They're awesome for stock. Then celery, I've got 2 ribs here. What I'm gonna do is small dice these. I'm gonna set them to the side. Again, the ends of celery, the bottoms, use those in stock, put them in the freezer. 1/2 yellow onion is all I'm gonna need here. You can use a white or sweet as well. Remove that outside peel, put that in the freezer as well. And just simply small dice these, and when they're done, I'm gonna put them to the side in a bowl.
All right, we're doing great on prep. Now we have these 4 chicken breasts. What we wanna do is pound them out till they're about 1/4 inch thick.
Got a big piece of plastic wrap, and you could use a plastic zip bag too if you want. Spread it out. We're gonna lay 1 chicken breast right in the center. Then what I do is kind of double fold it and double wrap it and put it right over the top like this.
And then when it comes to pounding out chicken and using them out, there's a flat side, there's a side with a lot of ridges, a few ridges. What I like to do is start off with the side with a lot of ridges and just gently just tenderize it just a little bit, okay, to break down those chicken breast fibers in there, and then switch over to the flat side to finish it off.
And when I pound it on that flat side is sort of press out as well. So when you hit it, push it to the left or to the right. What this does is sort of spread the chicken out as well, besides just flattening it in that area. And as you can see, we have a perfect 1/4 inch thick chicken breast that we pounded out, a nice little cutlet. We're gonna repeat the process for the other 3 chicken breasts and just set them to the side on a plate.
We're approaching about 35 minutes total of prep time so far. My guess is this recipe is gonna take in between 80 and 90 minutes, but I pulled the butter out. You can see that it's pretty frozen even after about 25 minutes. What we wanna do is just unwrap it. I'm gonna leave it on the parchment paper and then cut it into 4 different pieces, 1 for each chicken breast.
Don't worry about being too perfect here with the sizes of the butter. Next thing we're gonna do is just season the chicken inside with salt and pepper, then place 1 of those little butter nuggets about 1/4 of the way up, fold it over, fold up the sides, just like my cordon bleu recipe. Repeat the process with the other 3 chicken breasts and butter cubes.
All right, now a couple of things. What we wanna do is add the chicken right to the center of a piece of plastic wrap, much like my cordon bleu recipe. This optional part, but you must do it here. We wanna make sure that butter's very nice and cold. Just add it to the center of a piece of plastic wrap, roll it up, and then twist the sides. To keep everything nice and tight, should look just like this once you're done. We're gonna put it back in the freezer for about 15-20 minutes. Don't worry, we got a few other things we need to prep up.
Pop those in the freezer, then back to the cutting board for our standard breading procedure. You've seen me do this a million times. I like to do it in cake pans. You can do it in deep bowls as well. I've got a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. This should be plenty, I think. Then we're gonna season it well with salt and fresh cracked black pepper. Use a fork or a whisk, whatever. Mix it until it's completely combined. Set it to the side in the second little cake pan. I think 2 large eggs should be plenty to coat with. Season them up with salt and pepper. We are going to season every step of the way here to make sure our chicken's delicious. Whisk it until it's like scrambled eggs. Set it to the side. Our last cake pan, whether they're homemade or store-bought, I think a cup of breadcrumbs should do perfect here. You could use panko as well if you'd like. I'm going to season with salt and pepper again. Mix it until it's combined. Set it to the side.
All right, Comies, here's where we're at. I told you this recipe is going to be all about mise en place and timing. So what we're going to do is get the carrots ready to roll in the oven. We're not going to put them in there yet. Place them on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper. I'm going to add on 6 to 8 more garlic cloves. Again, one of those staple cupboard ingredients that I have. Then I'm going to drizzle on about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Season it with salt and pepper. Set it to the side. Now we're going to get ready for our rice pilaf. Let's add about 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter to a medium-sized pot.
Once they are in the bowl, we're going to turn the heat to low medium. We want the butter to be completely melted. We're going to add in those onions. Next, I'm going to add in the celery, followed up with that last 1 finely minced garlic clove that we cut up at the beginning. We just want to sweat these vegetables 5 to 6 minutes. No caramelization, no brown. We're going to cook them just until tender. It takes about 5 or 6 minutes. Okay, right at this timing, we're going to add the carrots to the middle rack, 400 degrees. Should take 30 to 35 minutes. Plenty of time for the rice. Come back. I'm going to add 2 cups of the long grain rice. I'm going to toast it for 2 to 3 minutes. Just going to bring out that much more flavor in our rice pilaf. It's okay if they get a little bit brown. Totally perfect. I'm going to add in 3.5 cups of good chicken stock, homemade or store-bought. You know, homemade's always better. I like to use a half cup less, just so the rice doesn't become soggy. Season that part up with salt and pepper. Everything needs to be seasoned. Crank the heat on to high. Once it begins to lightly boil like this, give it a quick stir. We're going to put the lid on, turn the heat down to low. This should take about 20 minutes to cook.
It is totally go time. Rice is cooking, carrots are in the oven. Let's bread up our chicken and get them frying.
So in a medium-sized pan, immediately we're going to add in a cup of neutral flavored oil. Any neutral flavored oil should do. Let's bust the heat onto medium, start heating that up. Let's take the chicken out of the freezer. Looks really, really good. We just need to unwrap it. We're going straight from unwrapping it right into the flour like this. You know, one hand for dry, one hand for wet. So my left hand, I'm just going to coat the chicken on all sides. Give it a quick shake to dust off any excess flour. Go right over to our egg wash. Switch hands. You know how you do it. Roll it around. Make sure it is really, really coated. This is what's going to ensure that it's coated in our breadcrumbs. Go to the breadcrumbs, switch hands, pack it on there, press it down, make sure it is covered just like this. Should not be any less than this. We're going to set it to the side on a plate, repeat the process with the other 3. Let's go over to our cooktop. Our oil should be nice and hot, 350 degrees-ish. It should fry up immediately but not burn. Add all of them in there. It's going to take about 3 to 4 minutes per side for this to be completely golden brown. No need to cook it through yet. Once it is to that perfect brown, you'll start to see it creep up the sides. Let's flip it over. It looks absolutely beautiful. Going to cook it for another 3 to 4 minutes. At this point, I've got about 10 to 12 minutes left in the cooking process for the carrots and the rice. Let's remove all of our chicken. Set it on a rack over a sheet tray, little parchment paper if you want. I'm going to put it in the oven, bottom rack here, 400 degrees Fahrenheit with the carrots. Should take in between 10 and 12 minutes for these to finish cooking up.
Alexa, stop timer. Okay, my chicken has 5 to 7 minutes left, but the rice and the carrots are done. For the rice, take the lid off, add in some parsley. We're going to take a fork and fluff everything up. We just want to keep it warm. Don't worry, it will be totally fine over these next few minutes. Same with the carrots, which have maybe 3 to 4 minutes left. The chicken is finished. The carrots are done. I'm telling you right now, it smells so good in here, and we'll always go back to these fundamental classic cooking techniques. I tell you all the time, when you put them into practice, it will absolutely elevate your everyday cooking. Knowing about the timing, when the rice is going to start cooking, when the carrots are going in, and when to put the chicken in the oil. I'm telling you right now, all of these things have helped me finish this dish, but we still need to plate it up. Here's what you do.
I'm going to get a little fancy with it. I'm going to add some rice to a ring mold. It's going to keep it nice and circular and round. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. One bonus, though, there's going to be a lot of leftover rice for another meal. You're welcome. Pull up on that circular round. It looks really good. I love the way this looks. I'm going to add on 4 to 5 of those roasted baby carrots. Should be plenty for a serving. Then for the chicken Kiev, just add it down there. I don't normally advocate for this, but you want to slice it on the plate because that butter sauce is going to go everywhere. We don't want to do it on a cutting board. And look at that goodness. Dang, does that look good. You can finish off with a little fresh chopped parsley.
I will say it is crazy how affordable these old school recipes are, and they are still so delicious. Super glad I was able to pull this off. You can do it too. And if you're looking for some more budget-friendly meals, absolutely check out my pasta with Pomodoro sauce, Italian sausage, broccolini. I was able to feed 4 people for under 25 bucks with that too. Great recipe video. We'll see you on there.